Hello! I am no longer melting. Yes, it's nice and cool here now. Finally. Merc with the resub, tier 2 for 70 months. That's a lot of months, my man. That's, you're almost at 6 years. Jesus. That's crazy. Ring-a-ding-a-ding-ding-ding.
My name is Rolly Beat.
Yes, sir. It's Rolly Beat, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
sir.
He's so cute.
I guess we're all just in love with Christian's Rolly Beat. It's Rolly Beat, sir.
He's so cute, isn't he?
All right, we got to get over to the here, yeah, because people are subbing me here with the tier 2 for 58 months. Thank you so much.
That's more than 57 months.
Yeah. It's crazy.
A lot of months.
Okay, I'll be okay.
Excellent.
It's good to know.
Allow me to get the game open, and then I'll get started on exercising because it's been demanded of me.
No way.
Because I was a fool and forgot to turn it off. Here I am. You know what they say, fool of a took. Next time, throw yourself in and save us the trouble.
Yes, sir.
Forced to do push-ups? No, I have an under-the-desk pedaling machine that I use. How does a snake pedal? Don't worry about it.
Very carefully. Or very non-carefully, I suppose.
Yeah, we're very aggressively.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
all right. So where exactly did we leave off last time?
Oh, we're just back into it.
Yeah, well, we can take a second. We don't gotta jump like immediately back into it. We discuss where we were because I gotta start pedaling.
Yeah.
We talked with the jury because they were like, "Oh yeah, no, it's all proof." But then we were like, "Well, it is possible that the knife."
And Emma String.
The knife
Was
came
thrown.
from the building.
Yeah,
Thrown
the
into
knife
the
came
victim's
from
back.
was thrown. But
From
then,
an argument between a certain Mr. and
Yes.
Mrs. Garadab.
Van Six was like, "Dummy, it was on the other side of the road."
Tummy.
And
Yeah, he was
Why
like,
was it-
how
was
did
like,
the knife
well-
get all the way from their house
Yeah.
to the other side of the road?
My
Yeah.
learned Nepalese friend, you're dummy.
Susato was like, "Well, okay, but we can take her, the wife, Mrs. Garadeb, down and have her testify." But Van Six and the judge was like, "No, if something like that happened, if a knife and a book were flung all the way across the street, then these two would have seen it. They can testify about it."
Yeah. They're like, that's crazy. You're crazy. There's no way.
Keep talking about things. My water is right over there. I'll fetch it.
I'm
All right. We'll wait for Christian to drink his water.
similarly minorly.
As soon as
disposed.
Christian's done his water, we shall begin. Thanks for the tier 1 for 24 months. Whatcha? Hype train. All right, Chad. Now you know what to do. Get your subs in. Oh,
Raining.
16-hour shift. God, that's insane. Survive.
Oh boy. That is rough.
That's a very rough shift you've got there, buddy. Or throw all the bits. Ugh. Man, peddling.
All right.
Did not mean to
Believe
press the
me.
button. Sorry. I was trying to scroll my browser, but unless you click out of GA first, it immediately starts scrolling stuff, even if you're on a different window.
This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb. Believe me, a London Bob is good for his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Garadeb house are top-hinged casements.
Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rowdy was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, Sha. Nothing strange to report on that front, Sha.
Second 16-hour schedule. Survive.
Well, this is quite startling. Top hinged casement windows.
That's the startling part. Okay.
Alright, Judge.
That detail was not in police report, Constable.
Oh, yes, sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy.
You
so
cannot
sleepy.
excuse. Oh,
Hey, Ron,
cannot
Tuck was just saying he's so
excuse-
sleepy.
you cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable.
No, Sha.
The sound's killing me.
Sorry, but what exactly is a top-hinged casement window?
And you. You cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend.
Oh, I can't stretch and exercise at the same time. You're crazy.
Of course. Sorry.
Remember well,
Exercise.
Mr. Trite?
It's been a while.
It's your trite.
Mr. Trite.
Stretch your size, Melissa.
You guys are crazy. I found it, Miss Naruhodo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's room.
All right, I'll try.
So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. Bum, 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 bum. But as it is a top-hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see.
I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount.
It prevents its opening. This is all news to me.
Yes.
Absolutely correct, Sha. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down the pavement below. No.
You see the problem then. Good. Your education in Windows is complete. There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane has been shattered. Something we've discounted already.
That can't be.
There is no we.
Did you see that, Rowley? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony.
Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me.
Oh, Rowley, you're so strong.
How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed.
Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination. Please do not nap now.
Well, it would be one of us less. My lord. Oh, good. Another desperate situation.
Desperate struggle.
Endless battle.
All right. Let's press this shaka.
Yes, sir. How can you say that for certain? A very good question, sir. And the answer is this. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty.
He showed us that before, didn't he?
Did he? I can't say I remember. To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. It's what the job's all about.
Yup.
And that's why I can't stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you Bobby's good for his word. While rubbing my tired eyes admittedly, sir?
Oh, Rowley, you're so manly.
Of course I am, my darling Patricia. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rowley.
Oh, please.
Please.
No, none of this is what I meant. I meant How can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb? No, I see, sir. You should have said so earlier, sir. Yes, well... So, could you answer the question? That was a waste of time, then. Absolutely, sir. I will answer it to the fullest of my abilities, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's domestic dispute can't be related to this case. But before I get into that, sir, just one thing. Yes?
I can't stop laughing because you've got the I needed sleep and I've been up for 12 hours voice on perfect.
You see, it's because he needs sleep. It's been built up.
I'd very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard.
Okay, exercise done.
So, I hope you'll take back some tales of us London Barbies and how we uphold our guiding principles. I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here. So to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my warrant card for your perusal. But I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears. Thank you. I'll try.
So upset about it.
Yay.
Yo, Peroso, sir.
You see,
Now,
I think this is like our third day in London. Or
now it's
fourth.
time for you to become even more learned.
My learned friend.
My learned friend.
A policeman must strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives.
Fair enough.
Help detectives, huh?
Yeah, all right.
By which you mean they don't open fully, is that correct? Yes, sir. They're just there to allow a bit of air through the hours, you see, so they're restricted as to how much they open.
And therefore, anything thrown out the window from inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Here is the location where objects would have fallen.
Yes. Directly opposite the scene of the crime on the other side of the rather wide road.
Yeah, and you have to watch for Imperial tanks when you're crossing the road.
Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top-hinged casement thing before?
Yes.
Well, I have another question for you, Constable. And what would that be, sir? How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house is furnished with? Oh, well, sir, that's very simple. And I'm very cute. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday. Speaking of cute, have you seen my wife? She's adorable.
She's adorable.
I love her with all my heart, I do.
Sorry, she's also full of lettuce.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat?
I want to check it. Oh, call blimey. Sorry.
You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that?
Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. We really were so lucky.
Lucky? What do you mean?
Does she mean?
Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see.
Oh, I hadn't realized.
Oh yes, that street, Royal Road. That's the boundary between Rowley's Beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love?
Constable Beat. Huh? Huh? Oh, yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with interviewing the occupants of the Garrett household yesterday. Houses on my beat, you see. So. That really was cutting it close then.
Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Garrideb household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well?
Outside Mr. Garrideb's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat. I see. I was unaware of that.
Just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary.
Isn't that convenient?
But that's the life of a Bobby after all.
Extraordinary people are Bobbies. Tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners.
Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rowley for his all his hard work. Don't you think so, my darling?
That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record.
Leave it to me, Miss Naruhodo. I'll take care of it immediately. God almost killed Olive Green. Case closed.
If it isn't the Catholic Church.
If it isn't the Catholic Church!
Even in the year 1901.
Let's go!
Turn of the century, same crime.
And now it's my turn, I think.
Wouldn't be a proper crime without a little Jesus.
Oh, fuck, he's right. So what got updated there? The schmab?
I think we got a new thing.
The case
Oh,
file
no.
got updated.
Oh yeah. The payment lies on the border. Yeah, it was just this description here.
Marseille. Hold it! I want to eat, but...
But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark.
Albert Rowley and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for a lucky star.
Sorry?
The star that will guide us to eternal happiness.
Can't it guide you to answer the question? If a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us, it would have lit up like a shooting star.
If I'd seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Let Rowley be an inspector, I would have said 3 times at least.
Of course, what with the smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars.
In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you?
God.
Yes, sir. That is correct, sir. As sure as the night sky in London is starless, sir. It certainly seems like they're telling the truth.
And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran over to help her.
Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer. Is that right?
That's right, yes. If it had been in Rowley's Beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course.
Don't feel bad, my love. Can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat.
So Rowley told me the way. Only, I sort of got a little lost on the way.
Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me.
Okay.
Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rowley.
Oh. Oh, please.
No, wait, it's calling a cab, so I will be on mute for about a minute.
Or 15. They're so cute. Look at them.
I'm looking.
Respectfully.
I'm looking respectfully.
Excellent.
Yes. Jeez.
But I think we're all starting to come up with theories at this point.
I'm clueless.
These straights in my Pride Month? I don't think so.
They must be criminals.
Yeah.
Hands up, I'm a criminal.
Right, you're not exhibiting straight behavior, you just are straight.
The straight man, come on.
There's a difference, okay? Oh, okay.
So I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, my brother was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed.
I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir.
Sha?
Nothing strange to report. Nothing to report. That's correct, Sean. I had my eyes wide open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the yard's honor, sir. Really, that seems a little strange.
Oh, yeah?
Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. It seems altogether regular to me. This burnt copy of the Lion's Pride was originally in the Garrideb household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim?
Christian, I love you so much.
It's his accent, not mine.
God.
Can you shed on any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time?
It's just actually funny to me because the book was lit on fire. And because of your accent, you said victim.
Wick.
Get it? Wick?
No.
Wick? Fire? Wick? Fire? Okay, moving on.
Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burned as well?
I mean,
Yeah.
it could,
Yeah,
Rolly.
definitely.
Yeah, that could be a possibility.
You know what? That's it. That's the right answer, Rolly. You got it.
Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand?
Sheer friction of holding it.
As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them.
You'll never find it, Renosuke.
Can I ask you something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir? Sir,
Oh, yes, of course. What is it?
you're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell.
What? I wasn't really. I mean, what's she doing?
Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable.
I didn't.
1900s!
You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am.
I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you.
No excuses, I don't want to hear it.
Oh,
My voice will be heard!
oh,
My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you?
Yes, Mrs. Beat, I will allow you to supplemental testimony if you would so desire. But please, your husband. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one.
that was a very loud mutter.
I heard that!
Wow.
That Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife's word counts for nothing, does he?
They're really throwing Japanese around like a slur, huh?
But watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Rowley won't.
Japan jump scare.
Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue.
What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder?
Activate your Karens!
Mrs. Beat, nobody is questioning what you've told us.
Except for you.
It's my job.
I saw it, I did. That evening, I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back slinking away from the scene.
Not a cat.
Ah,
You know what I didn't see as well? I didn't see any flaming books and knives flying through the sky.
all very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction?
Oh, yes, well, that's so embarrassing, really. I've always ended up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Rowley. He gets ever so cross.
Oh,
Does he?
Constable Beat, is there a problem? No, sir. No problem, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening, is all.
Oh, fuck.
You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident? Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over from mine. But she was gone a fair bit longer than I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15.
Oh, Rowley, you're such a tease. But the reason I was so long gone was because of the bouquet, silly.
The bouquet?
Doc, it's time.
Bang. There it is, my only speaking role for the next 15 minutes.
Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about?
Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Rowley's so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds.
Yes, how romantic.
I'd forgotten all about him until just now. Had you, my darling?
Oh, yes.
I feel so bad for this dude.
He's so tired.
He's so fucking sleepy.
I feel it.
But that was just between us.
Uh-oh, crime time.
No talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise.
Really? Oh.
What was that all about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange.
I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet.
Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned, I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please.
Flowers.
Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to.
Flowers.
Romance.
I can imagine that Van Zeeks and like Xenos have the same view on things. Flowers.
He wants Inosuke to grow strong.
Ah, my learned friend, my only friend.
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime?
Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was the one with the knife in her back, I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Riley gave me. It was in a dark spot where the streetlights weren't cast any light, so I didn't notice at first.
And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on?
Bait.
Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again, but the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all.
In case you need reminding, Miss Beat, the victim is not deceased.
I was so flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road.
Your husband, presumably?
That's right, Selenia had gone over to the wrong side of the street. Although I'm gonna blame the bouquet this time. I can't think how it got there, I really can't.
So, the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite.
Kind of sus.
Curious indeed.
Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose really bought me, without change from the guy he spent so long collecting.
By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose?
Hey, don't be mean.
Black rose weapon.
Oh! Oh, yes, that's it! That's the bouquet really bought for me for our anniversary. No bits of change he found in the gutter.
Maybe just call it a rose.
No, Renosuke. It's a bouquet.
Call a hit point a smear. Tell us, Lord Van Zeeks, where did you come by this flower?
Phrasing.
In the bushes.
According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garridip household.
In front of the Garridip's house.
Although it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case, since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare.
Good job, Ron.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. Could I have a back now, please?
No, I think for good measure, this rose should be added to the court record as evidence.
Oh,
You can have it back later. Don't be sad.
it's a symbol of our love.
Yes, dear, and it's also symbol of evidence.
I want it back after the trial, do you hear me? I want it back!
Maybe.
Oh, good grief! Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Beat. All this fuss over a rose, my word.
I didn't check my crime scene. Nothing strange to report. Is there nothing strange to the report?
Okay.
Can we
Indeed.
It do be a single rose in a newspaper.
It's in a newspaper, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how it be. It's
Listen,
very
we love the
stylish.
news.
It's very stylish paper the flowers wrapped in, isn't it?
It's just an old newspaper, Miss Naruto.
Oh, I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It looks so exotic to me.
Ah, I see.
Is something wrong?
I can think of a few things, Mr. Naruto.
Oh, no. No, I was just thinking that if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like some sort of fancy cake.
Ah, Susato-san, you do love your cakes.
Oh, God. It's a rose.
By any other name.
An English rose. It's such a beautiful flower.
Ah, this is a rose, is it? I've never seen one before.
You've never seen a I mean, I guess they're not indigenous to Japan.
Yeah,
But...
I mean, it was just said that they're English after all. I think that stands.
Yeah, but like any rose, like I don't
Mel,
know. Man.
before shipping
is a
internationally, where do you
1900s
see a
pumpkin.
rose?
Do you not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Naruto?
I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least.
Gosh. 3?
Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom.
Die.
Perhaps you should consider branching out? Learn some that aren't fruit tree based, for example?
Haha, branching out, I see.
Haha.
Well, we've already... nothing to report? That's correct, Sean. I had my eyes wide open the
Oh,
entire
we
time.
did. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. My goof.
Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report.
Greetings, Professor. Ah,
Yes. The whole idea of an
I
invisible
skipped it.
attacker.
what do you make of all this?
The whole idea of an invisible attacker has been troubling me all along. But I believe I'm starting to get a picture of what really happened here now. The 4th book that had no business being at the scene of the crime made me sure that Mrs. Garrett was hiding something from us. But it's becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. I think I may already be armed with everything I need to strike a decisive blow here. This time, it's going to expose the whole truth about this mysterious affair.
This blow do be decisive.
All right. So what's the issue statement?
I know.
Ray, Ron?
Sorry, I'm stretching. Ooh.
Drop the good hair.
Hi, Sneaky.
Leave the scene, but my trusty relay was there.
Yeah, it's one of these. It has to be something
I
to
feel
do with their...
Maybe
They seem so sure about it, but I don't know if so sure. If they're so sure.
maybe it's the 4th one. My trusty relay was there.
You think he
Maybe.
wasn't there? You think he was elsewhere?
Maybe.
You want to give him a hint along, Christian?
What kind of hint do you want?
Give him which one it is, and we'll get them to guess the evidence.
I do believe it should be the last one.
Yeah, didn't
Oh.
he say he was grabbing a bite to eat or something?
Oh, that's right. Well, I wasn't too far from the truth.
But what is that?
Ah. Nothing strange to report on that front, Sha. Hi, honey. How you doing, Zen?
100% honeyed.
What you think it is, chat? Chat call?
Clearly, he was staring. He was staring at that rose.
Was he about to do a breach of protocol? That would go against his trusty handbook.
Think it's the bouquet. Ah!
Oh.
He was looking for it. He wasn't watching the crime scene.
He was looking.
I knew it.
Objection!
Ah, there we go.
You claim, Constable Beat, there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be.
What do you mean to say?
In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road to where the victim was attacked.
How did it get there, genius?
Shut up. I'm kidding.
Roses with legs.
But considering the size of that meager bouquet, if a single sorry bloom can be so described, no doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs.
God, you're so mean.
Sheesh.
Meager?
But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact?
Ugh.
No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor.
But the bouquet belonged to me! It has nothing to do with the case. That's the why Willie didn't mention it, I'm sure.
No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way round.
What are you talking about?
Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garrideb's book.
Oh,
Yep.
shit.
Mr. Garrideb's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here, on the west side of the street.
West side.
And yet, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road, in the
Which is-
victim's hand.
Fucking weird. So weird.
Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But, in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house.
Hi, Rion.
There's no logical explanation for those things, unless somebody deliberately moved them.
Shenanigans!
Malarkey in my courtroom.
What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my brother's done something wrong.
Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says. What's going on about books and bouquets? Why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is.
Ah, good. Mrs. Garrideb's come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garrideb.
And it's exactly what it is.
Oh, it's hella nitpicking.
That's how the Wright clan fixes their cases. Ah, yes, Jimmy Naruhodo.
But deliberately meddling with the scene of the crime is a criminal offense. It's called,
Tampering, Mr. Naruhodo.
but the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it. For a very subtle but compelling reason.
They're a criminal?
Tampering? You've barely heard the term before.
Well, it's English.
Tell us, my learned friend, who would have possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception?
Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening.
But who?
Well, go on, tell us.
All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person.
But who?
Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture.
Well,
Who are are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime?
Well, we know it's one of them. But which one?
Who do it? Who's the bad beat?
Was it Rowley? Because he didn't want to get in the way of his wife's anniversary date? Or was it Patricia for the same fucking reason?
Who's more devoted to the rose?
Oh, one of them was there for a while.
Yeah, alone.
Is it Rowley?
Obviously, there's only one person it could have been.
Oh my god.
Constable Rowley Beat, it was you.
What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard?
What nonsense! Why would my brother do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. Nobody works more tirelessly for the people of London.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride. Mrs. Beat, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you are absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it.
You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it.
If that was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it.
This is case 4 of 5 for Grace Attorney Chronicles #1.
Woo!
Oh,
And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene.
oh, well.
First, you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate a policeman as well. Oh, sorry.
Ron has stepped away for a moment.
We can take this moment to really appreciate the sculpted features of Van Seeks. Look at him.
But your accusations lack one very important thing. Can you
Oh,
guess
well.
what it is? One guess. One guess. You claim the crime scene was tampered with.
Proof!
But there is only one reason why anyone will commit such a reckless crime. To hide something.
That's right. He's right. But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense.
You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats.
Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair.
Mr. Naruto, have you managed to solve this mystery?
Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged.
No! Not his reputation as a lawyer.
With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive of this alleged tampering.
Yes, my lord.
So dedicated.
Constable Beat's motive for tampering with the cream sign was to hide.
The what, Christian?
The cream sign!
Crime scene.
I've got a sign of cream.
It's where the victim fell. It's ugh.
Where the victim fell to the ground. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs.
What?
Look at him taking it back with his little claw hand. He's ready to fight. He's got the claws out. Meow.
It's the claw!
My word.
My word. My word of the day, vampire. Fuck.
Hydrate.
God damn it.
It's okay. Hydrate.
My word.
Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked. What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement at Briar Road. We saw it happen, remember? It was right here. As if anyone didn't already know.
That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all.
What?
What? What?
Nancy's still doing the claw. I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Council.
Where is it gonna end?
That's a good question.
In the gutter.
If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nibbles friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening?
Oh gee, where else?
Fucking right there!
Oh, gee whiz.
That's...
On the opposite side of the road?
Yes! Think McFly!
I don't understand.
On the evening in question, Mr. Garrideb's book fell directly down from the open window above. And your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself.
Good gracious!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. These witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place.
That's right. I saw it with my own eyes.
It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road.
No, that's not true. It can't have been.
Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene.
He's a surgeon.
He moved all the things shown in this print, the victim herself, the 4 books.
I can't believe it. He was Dr. Rowley Beat.
He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road.
Extraordinary!
But the constable overlooked one thing.
What? And what did he overlook?
The bouquet, I presume.
Exactly.
The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeek said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light.
Yes, it couldn't have been seen in the dark, obviously.
Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond, Constable Rowley Beat?
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important?
Oh, Rowley. It isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said, it's all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know.
I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed.
Oh.
Only a shame.
Rolly.
It wasn't a dream at all.
Oh.
Good golly! Order! 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 What on earth is the meaning of all this?
Oh, Rolly, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it?
Wishing the victim dead should be one too.
Yeah, she keeps saying that she's dead.
Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London Town.
I can't say, sir.
Oh.
What?
I really am ever so sorry about all this.
He just wanted a night with his wife.
For damaging the yard's reputation. For everything.
Van Zieks must be seething.
Van Zieks is fucking shitting a brick over there, like leg up on the desk, just get some room.
Shining that boot.
I have a possible explanation. For why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason.
What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman, even though he committed a crime.
He's so racist.
A claw. A claw.
God.
And yet, Lord Van Zieks, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far.
Ah.
I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory.
Oh God, he's gonna say Japanese with a hard R.
Counsel of the defense, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Now then, I think you'd better show us some evidence.
At once, my lord. England, Japan. It makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same.
Oh yeah?
And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions.
Renosuke talking about anime dubs. What gives away the motive for Constable Beat's unthinkable actions?
I think it's the warrant card. Right?
What does everyone else in the stand think?
Because of number 2, one and 2.
I feel like it is the war.
Any crimes other plunders being which are discovered. When the crime is discovered, maybe most
It's
assist.
probably you could present either the map rule.
Yeah, I feel like that would have made more sense.
I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I have only just arrived from Japan.
He could say this evidence warrants a gander.
Which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that, though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example.
Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens of his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to each day. Certainly.
But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special.
Special? How?
On account of this bouquet, my lord.
Oh, yes. It was her very first wedding anniversary.
Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal.
when he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon the crime along Briar Road.
Play the organ music.
I'm assuming that's me, or is it Kristen?
Go ahead, either one.
When
When
he saw
he's-
that, that shadowy figure. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of them. You can take the next one.
Sure. What must have gone through that man's mind?
But doing a duet.
Yes, sir.
But sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with a lot being married to a bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care.
Oh, Rowley.
Oh, Rolly.
This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier.
Yeah, was.
Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives.
Aha!
Constable Beat.
Ready to talk to yourself, Christian?
Yes. Is that, or is that not, the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. Everything you said. It's all right.
Actually, it's terrible.
So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat.
Oh,
Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat.
Good gracious! Constable! Do you realize the gravity of what you've done?
It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then, it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was laying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight? Of all nights? Why? It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you'll have to go to the police box that covers it, turn right along Measham Street, and then...
Right.
Crime. Oh, buddy.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
oh, Constable.
I just wanted, just that one night, to take my Patricia out for dinner.
Oh, Rowley.
Just that one night.
You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside of your jurisdiction. Just across the street, to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring Mead's care.
You see, I thought... Well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my brother would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement.
I see your meaning now.
But God got me back from my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat.
Oh no, Rowley, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rowley.
And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from the one side of the road to the other in total? Four it was. Yes, sir. Definitely 4.
3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garrett household, of course.
But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it.
How you found it? What do you mean?
When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. You're sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir.
Sure.
Interesting.
Very.
We're not done with this case yet.
It's coming together now.
I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only the 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However, which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it. I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it.
Oh. My lord.
Yes, Lord Van Zeeks.
I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses.
Well.
Constable, you may withdraw.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Prosecutor, sir. What will happen to my Rowley? What will happen to him?
For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
Please don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning him for coming home so late.
Oh. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired.
All right then, my love.
One last thing, Constable.
Sure.
Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you.
Yes, sir.
Carve that lesson into your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of the crime.
It's a Count Van Zeeks. That's it. This Jack Castlevania looking dude is.
Never again, sir? You mean to say...
Leave now. This trial is not yet over.
Shaw!
Yeah, he gets to keep his job.
Let that man rest. Jesus Christ.
Chat's being very unsympathetic. And I'm kind of just
Yeah.
ignoring it because, like, it's a cartoon video game. No one actually died. And he's got plenty of, like, not good motivations for why he did what he did, but, like, it makes perfect sense.
Hate the
Imagine
system,
you
not
work
the
for,
guy.
like, months and months and months, and the one night you get off, your whole night is ruined.
Yeah, I actually feel for this guy. He's kind of relatable. I mean, I wouldn't do that bullshit, but
Now,
still.
if Olive Green actually died, I'd be not giving him any sympathy.
Oh yeah, if she died, that'd be a different story.
Yeah.
But she's alive, so he's getting a little bit.
What a quiet start of revelation, I'd say. Who would have thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that?
Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is the only person who could have possibly committed this crime.
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back.
Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already.
Lord Van Zeeks, is this true?
Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objections to the trial continuing.
You will name this other person who could have perpetrated this crime.
Fucking who else?
Of course.
Marital discourse is a drug.
Let's go.
The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord.
Once again?
Yeah.
Well, it happened like a week ago, so... My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case. It's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Johan Garideb.
Me? Me? Oh, dearie me!
That request has already been denied.
But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garideb, answer me this.
What do you want now, you little toad?
At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garideb.
I'm gonna... so much stuff in chat right now. What's the last thing I'm gonna say on it? Were this game to take place in the modern day, I'd be completely behind ACAB. But it takes place in 1901, when the police force is little more than a bunch of dudes strapped up with fucking batons and... batons and routes, like... It is not quite the corrupt structure we live in today.
In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited. And to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks out over Briar Road.
Well, what of it?
You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the open top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident.
What mafia? We're in London.
Yes, and as I said, what of it?
During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. Regarding this whole police thing, it is ultimately all a question of power and such. It is clear that our police officer, Constable Rollerbeat, had very little power. Or some such thing. He was a cog in the machine of, this I mean, walking 20 miles day in, day out, and doing all of the other work. He was a worker.
He was severely overworked, and he wanted one thing, and that was to be with his wife, and it was about to be taken away from him.
So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garrideb. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before?
Oh! I don't recall it.
Seriously?
Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? And anyway, the man over there, not Regalia, said members of the jury needn't testify, didn't he?
Conveniently, yes.
Objection!
No! I have no recollection of saying that at all, juror number 4.
Oh!
Oh my.
Oh my.
Here's who you should really be getting mad at, chat. At least Rolly confessed. Look at all this squibble squabble she's trying to run around in.
Make no mistake, you jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process.
Good. Fucking good.
But
If you know something about this knife, madame, let the truth come out.
But that's just a common or garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know?
Oh, hey, Duck.
What's that?
Are you joking?
what are you saying? Please, Mr. Getting Scared.
Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. Only my husband. Spouse abuse is fine.
Damn.
Oh, the poor woman who abuses her husband.
So yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife if that's what you think. Come along now. Chop chop. Do your worst.
Well,
Well, Mr. Naruhodo,
if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already.
Then take the stand, juror.
No!
The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman, sorry.
To cross-examinate. Thank you, Lord Van Six.
Time to cross-exterminate.
Come to think of it, it was probably nice for the writers to not have to think about
Yeah?
fingerprints and stuff as explanations, you know?
Well, actually, fingerprinting was not a thing back in the day. Back this late.
Was it
Like
not
in
a thing?
1919, the turn of the century? No, it wasn't a thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They didn't have to think about it. It's not a modern game.
he's like, it's really, we don't have to write around this sort of thing right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
We can just be sneaky about this. Juror number 4. As I'm sure you will appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today. Witness testimony leads to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware.
Oh, dearie me.
So, I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Garrideb. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels?
Certainly, my lord.
Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord.
Yeah, the music.
Let's go.
Let's bring this woman to task.
She's just sitting there like, oh!
Well, well. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real.
4 cases in.
I'm here in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer.
I really like these multiple angle shots because you can really tell like how good the 3D models are because like you can see you're seeing Van Zeek's over there from an angle you've never seen it before. Some of the jurors from an angle you've never seen before. You know, Reno's
Yeah, it
is
helps-
back,
it
the
helps-
judge on the side there. It's really nice.
It helps make the world feel more living. And I want to also make a comment. I was just about to make the comment that Ryunosuke himself mentioned. This is turning into the first like genuine real W case that Ryunosuke is about to have, and this is only case 4.
Yeah.
of 11.
You can also see the courtroom. It's pretty cool.
It's nice. It's nice. Joan.
Witness, state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes, my name is Joan Geradeb. And I'm... Well, I'm a juror and such like.
It sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore.
The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madame?
Yes, my lord.
You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth.
Oh, dearie me.
Well, that's probably gonna be.
Right.
Chin up, Jody. Nothing to worry about now. Hello.
Oh! I didn't know you were here, John.
Moriarty.
It wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather think I'll also testify as well, don't you?
What what about your knee, dear?
Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone.
Oh, John.
You notice he has his little medal on.
Of course he does.
I presume you are Mr. John Geradeb?
He is, in fact, Mr. John.
Yes, sir. A former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland. Fuseless, sir. Northumberland.
Northumberland Fusiliers.
Northumberland, thank you.
I like that class in FFTA, too.
Yeah.
I've seen my fair share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were. The quiet life? Were you not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day of question? Yes. Quite.
I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court.
This fucking Kirby boss over here.
Calling a juror to witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question.
Sir, at once.
You thought we were done. You thought we were done with Rolene and Patricia, but we're not done yet.
The Battle of Geradeb.
Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked our candlestick over to set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I'd noticed one or two went missing, I'm afraid. If the poly thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, you'd have a job proving it, I think.
Skirmish, yeah.
Sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening.
Although, an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute...
Oh, fuck. That was me hitting
We'd
my
been
microphone
lost.
with my glass, sorry.
We'd have been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment.
Are we still talking about a marital quarrel here?
Well, I must say, I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light to the origin of this jackknife.
In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed.
You know about combat, huh, Van Zeeks?
These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end.
Van Zeeks may well be right.
Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruto.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
It's not like we could wait for Miss Olive Green to wake up or anything.
Very well, Consul. Begin your cross-examination.
Hang on, can you imagine? She wakes up, we go through all the trouble of proving he didn't do it. She says, no, that Japanese man did it. Ah!
Oh, fuck! Alright, John.
The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe.
Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Garadeb.
A rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Garadeb found the note discovering her husband's little secret.
And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too.
What a sordid state of affairs.
Hell on earth.
My man. My man's be right.
I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to drag it all up. And besides, half of it was wide off the mark anyway.
A likely story.
These waters run very deep.
And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face?
Multiple blows, huh?
And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it?
The bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine, really. It just so happens there was some bath water around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out.
Most precarious situation you put yourself in.
Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street, where the water main isn't connected yet.
Oh.
Have to draw the water from a public water pump during the day if we need any, you see.
The lodge is always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although that little Mr. Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe.
The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean?
What a bottle!
What a bottle?
Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off.
Have you actually seen the state of the man?
Yeah, Dino. What
I believe he used all of his income to buy books.
Well, anyway, the point is I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough.
God. English is funny, huh?
Even though the room was on fire?
As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw.
Cast these
It's
hands.
most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruto.
How did you know I was thinking of it? So, please, cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day?
In all honesty, I don't recall, but I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see, some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel and a sponge, a napkin.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Garadeb.
Don't shoot! Sorry, I beg your pardon?
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind?
Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she applies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker, I seem to recall.
Ouch!
Ouch!
Jesus.
And the woman's aim is uncanny. She landed a direct hit. Ah! Okay, moment. We're not at home now. There's a corner.
Oh, dearie me! Ever so sorry, dear.
I want to deck her so badly.
Same! So bad.
What's she even doing with a teapot in here?
Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at all. At you, obviously.
I'll take a look at this then. How do you suppose that happened? Hmm?
Oh yeah, this bandage.
Your pipe, sir.
Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught.
The onslaught.
Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, as she did, yes. When I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage.
I see, your pipe was broken.
It would have never been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. I saw her pour and I was expecting it. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now.
Oh, you are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear?
I wonder what we should make of this account.
Kiara!
Totally insignificant.
Thanks for the 10 gift subs! Garge! What are you doing giving gift subs? What are you doing?
System KG?
What do you think?
Oh! Systemu KG!
You've never done that before. It's not like it's a total of 593 now.
Jesus. It could be important.
The defense believes Mr. Garrett.
May very well have become a mother
Oh.
to me.
Never mind.
What are you doing?
So don't you
What are you? Shulk, back off! It's not time for a chain attack. Oi! What the? Oi! Oi!
Wow,
Oi!
did they
Oi!
this? Holy moly.
Oi!
Stun ban!
What's going on here? Why? What's going on? Which is the strangest time? What?
To you.
It's been an hour and a half. What are you doing?
To me!
There's not even a fucking list you can put on. What are you doing?
Right then.
Let me help.
Can't make a rainbow without Ryan.
What's going on? Speaking of Ryan, I forgot to bring this up earlier. Every time we said beat, my brain was just like, Scary! Stop!
Have become a mother to me. You
I'm
took away her
alright.
life, so don't you
Right,
dare
you're a
judge me.
lifesaver.
I'm a what?
Every time we said beat, my brain was just like, hard beat!
I'm a beat.
Yeah, I'd play the Japanese line and the English line on my brain. It would just go between.
Lala Soon was a young woman who may very well have become a mother to me.
Whoa.
You know, I'm gonna go get my water while you get this out of your system.
Good thing I'm
Chat!
here. No.
Chat!
Anyway.
Chat! Ta 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 ta.
Holy
Ta 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 ta
moly.
ta ta ta.
I think I will do likewise.
Chata! We're trying. Chat! Tat! Pourquoi? Por qué? Nani? Why? 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 Now I'm Mr. Garrett getting fucking thrown shit at me. Why are you do? Why? Why this?
Y'all are great.
Chad, please.
We're done here. And then pull out your heart.
Dead on!
Are we done?
Anyway.
No, it's
In
not
my
over
head,
yet.
it just kept going between hammer beat and hammer beat.
Lala
The
Soon
defense
was a young
believes
woman
Mr. Garrett's
who may
remarks
very
is
well
now
have
to be
City
of great
become a mother to me.
significance.
You took
But never
away her
mind.
life, so don't you dare judge
It's
me.
not over. Not yet.
Not yet. It's not over yet.
Chad, please.
Chain attack, except it's all of Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3's cast.
Chad, please. Chad, ta 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 ta. Palilili.
Yippee!
Oi!
Woman
Oi!
who may very
Oi!
well become a mother to me. You took away her
Please,
life, so don't you dare judge me.
How many was that?
I don't know. It's a lot.
Chad, please. I can't. Please. We just want to read. Please, Chad,
It's
please.
45 at this point. Thank you, Merc.
You want to
Please,
read?
I'm
No.
begging you, Chad, please.
Chat has decided that we will
45,
not
my
read.
order.
Ray, you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, let us proceed, Chad, please. I'm begging you.
It's still going.
This war veteran's words only tells us one thing.
Ah,
Betray a fiery wife, and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony.
Indeed. Common sense, one might say.
Might one?
In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Well, I don't see why not.
Oh, dearie me. There you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady.
This woman.
Very well. The court will accept this gentleman's pipe as evidence.
Just want to fucking Zangief 720 her into the pavement.
Double final atomic buster. Well, we can just do it right now, Mel.
Get her done.
All you need to do is 720 for that.
All right.
New evidence.
Ce n'est pas un pipe.
It's broken.
It's all broken.
It looks to be in a sorry state with that bandage around it, doesn't it? But for some reason, it feels slightly ominous to me, like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same blue as Mr. Garrideb's dressing gown.
I suppose it must have considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garrideb, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this.
Either that or he can't afford to replace it. Well, it's a pipe.
I'm gonna look inside the pipe, and I need you all to brace yourselves for the truth of this case. Are you ready?
All right.
Quarter to
No,
brace.
I'm not. Let's go.
I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! Yeah!
And what a mark there is on that pipe,
Oh,
isn't
wait
there?
a minute. Wait a minute.
If you'll remember from a previous piece of evidence, a certain pocket knife. If we bring out the blade,
It's chipped.
How convenient for us.
Oh.
I was
A
hoping
knife.
this would come back so it's like, oh, the tip of the knife, 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 yes!
tip of the knife. Why do you think there's a cut in the pipe? Whatcha?
I'm
You see, you didn't
I've
notice
never been
this
happy
is
to
just
see
too
a tip
far
of
to
a
smoke.
knife.
Brother.
Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there.
Yes, I saw it. Something stuck in there, I think.
Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this?
It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
Karuma? The tip of a blade? Surely, it couldn't be. I think we have to go back. I think we have to go back and... Yeah, well, first examine this. but- This is the tiny piece of metal that we found in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
The tip of a blade.
Is something wrong with Snodahodo?
I don't really know. There's just something niggling me, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some of the other pieces of evidence again?
I think we have to inspect the knife here, yeah.
Why don't we open up this knife?
Now this is a knife.
Oh, look here, Miss Snodahodo, just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing.
Just the tip.
Wait, part of it's missing.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I've just got a feeling. You remember this?
That's the tiny fragment of metal that we found inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
Yes, and just maybe.
Oh my! It's a perfect fit!
Somehow, I just knew it.
There's
Dun,
no
dun,
somehow.
dun, dun,
There's
dun,
no
dun,
somehow
dun.
matter, Ryunosuke. This is some people call smoking guns. I love sharp knives. Sharpen this knife, Kupo.
Right, Jade? Perfect.
I hope I didn't speak out of turn, Miss Snodahodo. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down.
Oh, no, it's fine. Thanks to Susato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully.
Well, thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Garrideb. Now, if you could turn to the crux of the matter, can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim?
Ba, ba, ba.
Sorry? Would you care to elaborate?
Nothing to say, really. Rather partial to a spot of carving, you see. Pipes and whatnot. Fishing tackle. You know the sort of thing.
It's a passion we both share. I like to call the little wooden trinkets too. And then there's my leather work.
I'm sorry. Sorry to say, we're always losing knives about the place, and we've dozens of the things.
Dozens.
They sell them at the market sometimes. 20 for the price of 19. Needless to say, I snap them up.
You know, I think I realize why you have money problems.
John prefers to use 2 knives at meal times 2 instead of a knife and a fork.
Can someone help me balance my budget? Buy less knives. Ah!
Ron, go ahead and give us that line again.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, Joan, we don't want people thinking I'm some sort of savage.
Here we go again with the scoldings. Why are they being so evasive?
I imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. They can't bear the thought that it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim.
Which is entirely understandable, of course, but still.
Go on with your testimony, witnesses. Sir! Yes, sir!
So, you have no intention of admitting it was your knife, unless we can produce proof?
His lip quivers.
Even though there is no other credible possibility if Mr. Natsume is innocent.
You forget, my Nipponese friend, that it has yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack.
As if I could forget. If only there was some way to know who had handled the knife. But I suppose wizardry like that is just a dream.
Perhaps you're thinking of fingerprinting, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, what? You mean
What?
it's not a dream? That sort of wizardry really exists.
Whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from their skin, or so they say.
But I can't see anything.
There are already countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence.
I'm owned.
Lord Strongheart is currently discussing the matter at the Ministry of Justice.
Yes, I believe we are rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation.
So, as Nessa brought up in chat earlier, China has been fingerprinting for centuries at this rate. However, England has not yet adopted such manners inside the court, inside of their system of crime justice stuff.
The most advanced system in the world, mind you.
Mind you, yes, the most advanced system in the world.
Most
yes, of course.
advanced.
But for now, we shall have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. That this knife was found in the victim's back was originally in Mr. and Mr. Garrett's house.
Ugh. If only I could transplant this whole incident to several years in the future.
Lord Strongheart clearly has read the Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
That's the extent of their testimony, is it?
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
I think we've just been buying time and we could have solved this case hours ago. Well, I think we've heard all of this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident that we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony.
But in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident.
Yes, I know.
I'm sure most of them must be feeling very worried. Worried that it was in fact a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury.
If we could find even a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory, it would clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything, and I do mean tiny piece of evidence.
Yes, it would.
So, for Soseki-san's sake, we must find that last crucial piece of evidence.
I'm glad that society
It could hide anywhere.
It could hide anywhere.
It could be anywhere. It could be you. It could be me. It could even be...
We'll have a job proving it, I think. Anyway.
A tiny speck.
We're done here. Mr. Garridev, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please?
You can ask, but I can't do the bully thing.
Ah, you can't.
You used to call me Dead-Eye Deb back in the regiment, of course. But that was some time ago, holy shit. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days, I struggle to tell from a B, from a D, and a B, and a Q, to be honest.
A B from a D, and a P from a Q. Mind your P's and Q's, Mr. Garradeb.
Oh, he does. Dearie me, it's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word.
You must be very dizzy. That's like something I would say.
Yeah.
Ooh, Ryunosuke, I'm gonna kill ya.
No wonder Chris is voicing him.
What is that? A tiny scrap of metal.
Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence.
Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence?
It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garradeb's pipe.
My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how it got there.
And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Council? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of stabbing on Briar Road?
Yes.
Oh!
I am.
What?
What?
When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord.
She's in a box. She's so tiny.
She's tiny.
You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case?
Well,
The
thanks for following.
picture.
Huh?
No, I'm kidding.
It's the knife.
Yes.
This is a knife!
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there is a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing.
Miracle captures why? The spun, why?
That's pretty impressive.
Ah! Why? The spun, why? Oh, God. That's painful right there.
A common issue with the inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones.
And what of this particular knife?
No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garradeb's pipe.
Ah!
It's so dramatic.
Good grief! Lord Van Zeeks?
I don't believe it!
He's been shot!
He's taken damage.
Yes!
The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal.
Look at this fucking pose, man!
JoJo's pose. I reject my humanity. Are a perfect match.
What? Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery? I love this judge, dude.
We'll touch case 5 if we get done in the next 20 minutes.
But we've got escapades.
Oh, God, Kristen!
No magic, my lord. This is a miracle.
A miracle?
So Van Zieks has figured it out, has he?
Council! Explain this extraordinary coincidence at once!
Although, like, everyone on screen here is from England, except for Naruhodo and Susato.
Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe?
Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony.
Have this thing in my. That's it.
Sure, it's just 2 lines.
Yes, sir. Not the clean out of one of her soft projectiles she did, yes. It would never have sent it would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Oh dear. Oh dearie me.
During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Garrideb flung this knife at her husband. However,
Oh, it's fixed now in the little portrait. There, look at it.
Yeah. Dude.
the knife missed Mr. Garrideb, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time.
What caused the tip to break off? Of course.
Good lord!
Attempted murder charge in progress.
Yes.
Get her.
And that is when the tip of the blade, the tiny tip of the blade, found its way inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe.
The chances of that are 1,000,000 to none. 1.
And yet, there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off of the pipe and flew out of the open window.
I love you, Christian. But this time, it's your turn to be corrected on a word. The T in
Ricochet.
ricochet is silent.
Ricochet aid.
It's just ricocheted.
Ricochet, shay, shay, shay,
English
shay.
is stupid, I understand.
He's Japanese.
That's my favorite Mucha Lucha character.
Ricocheted.
Ah.
I'll ricochet you. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garrideb's house,
Spin.
is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below.
Oh gosh! Oh dear! Oh no!
Objection!
I'm not sober
Oh my
enough
god,
for
he's
this.
drinking.
A full-bodied theory, I'll give you that.
Praise.
A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage.
Oh, just say you're happy with his conclusion already, you fucking vampire.
But
No, he
you're
has to make like
missing
16 more wine
something.
jokes first.
Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument.
Thank you.
Mein Gott.
That was very Japanesely said. Thank you.
Sorry?
But after all, it is just a theory. A game theory. The bottle, I feel, is corked.
Well, we are playing a game.
Yes, indeed. Because you see, it's spoilt by an insurmountable inconsistency.
What?
An insurmountable... What?
Oh, Zeeks, explain yourself!
Yeah, explain!
What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified?
An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with the knife planted in the middle of her back.
Yeah?
Yes, in her... Ah!
That's right! You silly little man!
This poor man. Oh, he's fine now. Now, Joan, old thing. What are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic facts of this case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above, there is no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back.
Ah! true.
Yes, indeed. Order! Order!
Quite right, you see. That's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck her in the top of her head.
Oh, goodness.
Well,
I knew it. I never liked this theory in the first place.
I don't know, though, what really did happen.
It would appear that Francis made a rather spectacular blunder.
The theory has even one inconsistency it cannot stand. Your theory, my little friend, is history.
we were so close. I could see the truth. I was so sure we were on the right track. But now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency.
We'll make it reconsistent.
Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency, and the theory will stand.
Misusato,
You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all, and your mind went blank. But if the path you were on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the information you need is there.
Writes in.
It seems you have nothing to say, my deepening friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. A tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed.
Objection. Ejected from that pose.
Objection! This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is.
Trapped me in your lies.
What are you implying?
Counsel?
There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. That can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer.
Goodness!
Utter madness.
Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, is that the evidence of which you speak?
This is the last inconsistency, the final piece in the puzzle. If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is...
Is it the crime scene photo?
Well, what do you think, everyone?
Wait, no, not this one. It's this photo.
Yeah,
Possibly.
Yes.
she's holding it. But how
She
would
bent
she hold
over
it
to pick
if
up
she
the
had
book.
Well,
Yay!
I mean, I think we can present the book. Well,
This is probably one of those you can present too.
Sure.
I don't think
it was in the victim's hand when Mrs. Beat first ran over to see what I think.
Sure, let's try the book.
Yeah, it had specifically updated. This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present.
Oh, get the music in there, yeah!
Get in there!
The burnt book.
Is that not Mr. Garadev's book?
Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand.
But as we all know now, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that.
Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road.
That's true. However, As part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? Oh, well, Sean, that's because that's how I found it. When we first ran over to the scene,
There you go.
the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
Thanks, Rolly.
In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound.
Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything.
So, the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand?
By Jingo! I think I'm beginning to see why below.
See what may have happened.
See what happened.
Oh, dearie me!
We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Gerardip household on the pavement below. At precisely the moment that the victim was walking past.
Yes, at exactly that moment, the young woman was walking along the street in the light fog. When all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her.
The book I threw!
Yes, Mrs. Gerardep. And what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement?
Well, I really can't imagine, but I suppose she might have reached down. Oh no! And picked the book up!
Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book.
Oh, heavens!
And when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless.
Oh, she's so tiny.
Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book,
Jesus!
the next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back.
Happy Pride Month.
And at the same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Well, I never.
It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above.
Oh!
And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker.
So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene of the crime in the first place.
No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident.
That blows assholes.
And that is the real truth behind this case.
Oh. Huh.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Gerardep,
The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that.
There, old bean.
Poor Mrs. Garrett. I guess she's still an abuser, kind of an awful person, but I guess poor Mrs. Garrett.
I guess.
Rehabilitation is possible.
Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book, and I threw the knife as well. John, dear.
It's alright, I know.
I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry!
Aww.
best.
Oh my god.
It's still burnt from the fire.
Ah.
Throw another book at her.
I feel so bad for him.
Lord Van Zieks, what news of Mrs.
Yeah.
Gardeb?
If anything, I feel bad for Mr. Garrett, yes.
Yeah.
She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events had led her in an especially flustered state.
And Miss Olive Green, I suppose.
Yes.
However, I believe she will recover in due course. There should be no cause for concern.
Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily have been a terrible tragedy.
Oh yeah, Giovanna brought it up again. He's got a bum leg. What a Chad actually managed to hold her there for a second.
Man.
He did his best.
They should have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions.
There is some good news, however, my lord. I have just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon.
Well, for because the victim survived, because it's an accident, it was not done with intent. Her charge would probably be very low. Assault is a serious charge, but accidental assault is not a real charge, I don't believe. And therefore, like, she'd probably get jail time or like community service, but not a serious
Reduced-
actual
Reduced
amount
time,
of years.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But probably still jail. Yeah.
Especially because the victim didn't die. If Olive Green had died, it would be manslaughter and she'd be in jail for sure. But no death, not a serious amount of jail time.
Now, if this was a case about marital abuse and domestic...
Yeah.
It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her.
How wonderful. The woman is out of danger, it seems.
Yes, that is good news.
So, Mr. Soseki Natsume,
Hi, Doc.
Yes.
He's back after 2 hours. Doug is back.
on behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies.
No, it is me who should be begging your pardon.
Oh, no, Mr. Natsume.
That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again, in my confusion.
What conclusion, sir?
I was sure that the woman was dead.
Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she'd been killed too.
I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless.
Oh,
Oh.
it's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me.
Poor Soseki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him.
Yes, poor man.
So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should have never dropped my books like that and ran away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. And for that, I'm truly sorry.
One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps.
A series of unfortunate events.
We were befooled by the spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken, and the spirit exorcised.
Yoy.
I heartily commend you both.
How poetic.
How poetic.
Question.
Yeah.
Is Natsumi still gonna die?
I mean, I don't think so.
I mean, this was the Reaper of the Bailey.
True, but I mean...
Oh, I've been waiting for like 2 hours for a chance to say this. You made a Xenos comparison earlier, right?
Yeah, with Lord Van Zeeks and like how he sees because the video tweet Ron posted.
Yeah, no, hear me out. Ryunosuke, why does your client yet live?
You're a funny guy.
Ryunosuke, why does your client yet live?
Why indeed?
All right, moving right along.
Sorry, I'm handling something on the side here.
Surely you're above something as banal as evidence.
Yogurt, my one and only friend.
Do you think Van Zeeks eats yogurt?
Maybe on his spare time. But he wouldn't really tell
I think everyone eats yogurt on their spare time.
Well, yeah, I mean...
That's the only time to eat.
I'm employed to eat yogurt. Excuse yourself.
I mean, while you're working, you kind of don't have much time. Just fucking gulp it down in one go.
Yeah, suck it down and move on.
I feel like he'd eat it, but he wouldn't tell anybody.
I'm eating yogurt covertly.
My delightful surprise. Frozen yogurt, as cold as my heart.
Your Honor, yogurt.
Hear me, Ryunosuke. Live. So you can have the experience of enjoying yogurt. Live.
Live and consume yogurt.
I actually have a very strong memory, a feeling associated with eating yogurt in a specific way with a specific bread. When I was at my first university studies in Sweden, and I watched Chihaya Furu, one of my absolute favorite animes, for the first time. I was eating a very particular type of yogurt with some toppings and type of bread, and it was so good. And it was in the sun was shining. I was like, oh man, it felt like, I think back on it, I can still remember the taste, and it's like, oh man, this is a happy place.
I used to eat yogurt. I used to eat yogurt back in the day when I was younger, but I kind of stopped.
I eat yogurt whenever we have some at home. We don't typically get it. What do we do? No, I'll snap that shit up right quick.
I don't eat it often, but I don't not eat it.
I categorically refuse to consume yogurt. No, I'm lying. I actually really enjoy yogurt.
Yogurt.
I'm gonna have to call my parents here in a second.
Okay.
You alright?
Yeah, I just gotta handle something.
Okay. As long as everything's fine.
I was thinking about that earlier. Freaking Kirby. to completely switch gears here.
Wow, that's a
give me a second
callback.
here.
Yeah, Kirby, he freaking what's his face? He's one of Kirby's friends.
Describe.
The brown blobby.
Brown? I don't know about brown, but do you mean Waddle Dee?
Waddle Dee's nuts.
Oh, you fucker!
Uh,
He's red. How dare you?
I mean, brownish red.
You son of a bitch.
I heard Kirby contracted Ligma. Who's Kirby?
I've been waiting 2 hours to have real conversation. And you do this to me. I won't forget this.
I won't forget this.
Lolly lulelo. Lagma, ligma, lugma, legma, logma.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Logmas.
God.
You'll have to thoroughly keep track of them.
Ah, that's the secret of the lolly lulelo.
Oh my god.
Yo, a quack, by the way, Doc.
There it is.
Cannot believe you just ligmaned me.
How do you feel about that MGS 3 thing, by the way, Doc?
Oh, considering listen. People are hoping for a big old remake with lots of new features and shit. I expect nothing better than like textures, and that's it. Like they could literally just do texture update and alright, that's fine.
I was having a talk with Zach, and he said one of the things that kind of bothers him is that everything's in English, but they're technically speaking Russian. And then I went to make a joke like, "Hey, what if there's a whole Russian dub for the game now?"
That would be pretty funny. The thing is, they're using all the original voice lines, so
Yeah, they're not doing any re-recordings. And I believe there was someone I saw on Twitter who looked over, like a huge Metal Gear Solid 3 fan, who looked at all the released images and was like, "Yeah, this is exactly the same as it is in the original."
I've seen some of the, the press release too, and like, yeah, it's just a straight up 1-for-1, like, and I'm super satisfied with that. I mean, some people are expecting more, but I'm satisfied with that for sure.
So am I. MGS3 is pretty fucking good as is.
Yeah. I feel the same. I think it's still excellent.
I'm just thinking that, if it could have a Resident Evil kind of remake, that'd be pretty dope.
I think that'd be really cool.
Obviously, wouldn't ignore that.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my expectations low, but
Also, check out this banger tweet.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing this. It's so funny.
Oh yeah.
Check this out, idiots! Flops and lands on my neck, dying instantly. It is unclear what move I was trying to do.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild 2 are pretty entertaining. They're Tears of the Kingdom, I'm sorry. That's the official name.
You keep saying Breath of the Wild 2.
I
It's
do.
funny every time.
Yeah, every time. Tears of the Kingdom looks pretty good.
Tears of the Kingdom was pretty fun. I have not played it like I did, like I binged Breath of the Wild, but also I'm no longer in high school, so.
I have a lot of free time, but I'm spending that free time on other things.
Oh.
I bet you don't spend any free time with your friends.
I'm
Especially
doing
not
it
playing video
right now.
Are we not his
That was the
friends?
joke, Christian.
Are we
What
not
the
his
hell?
friends?
It was sheer nonsense. You were supposed to go along with my nonsense.
I would never, ever call you not my friends.
これは nonsense だ.
Oh.
No, I am busy trying to ignore the fact that the Final Fantasy 16 demo is out in a week.
You said you're playing that on Twitch, actually?
Yes, I was planning on doing a Twitch stream of it, and I could start up a call in this here
Yeah, it's up to you.
call that we're in.
Depending
And
on
if
the time.
anyone wants to join in, they're free to.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I may, in fact, be interested.
Yes. It'll be the talk of the town.
Indeed.
And you gotta be on the up and up on the new Final Fantasy story. Because, especially you 14 players, because it's gonna be, it's gonna be crossover events.
Oh, it's true. I didn't even think about that. There will be crossovers.
Well, Yoshi P did have a very hard and long conversation with the director of Final Fantasy XIV to get it, so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta respect all that effort.
Yeah. Please approve.
Okay.
Approve.
Please understand.
By the way,
Mhm.
today I was at a party celebrating my sister, my younger sister, my youngest sister. I only have the one. Her birthday is on the 10th, and she is also done with university. She is a officially licensed nurse type of job thing. She has not. She still technically could like continue with studies to get, a specific type of, license.
Right.
Like she was planning on midwife for a while, help get those kids out of there. But she has changed her mind and now she's just gonna work in whatever hospital she can find. Be assigned, general duties. But congratulations to her. Hooray.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
My niece is graduating tomorrow, actually.
Oh my.
Yeah, from high school.
Oh my.
So I'm gonna be going down there in the middle of the day, and I'm gonna sit there in the heat. Actually, we're in summer, and
It has been. I'll let you finish.
It's funny. We were gonna listen. We're going to listen to a guy speak for like an hour, and then she's just gonna come out for like a few seconds, take her diploma, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, at least she gets to take the diploma.
Huh?
No, I'm just saying for university, we all just sat in stands. Because, I graduated during COVID, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That was rough.
it's okay.
Just as well.
This past week, it has been like 12 to 15 degrees Celsius. And that is not a lot.
It's, what is that in Fahrenheit?
I believe 16 degrees is like 60 Fahrenheit.
Okay, yeah, so it's kind of around where I am here. Oh no, is that a dead pixel? Oh no.
But as I said, it's been like 12 to 15, so less than that.
Right, okay, so somewhere maybe around 50s is the lowest over here.
Apparently
It
it's
is,
gonna start to
unseasonably
become
cold, yeah.
slightly warmer now, though. 18 degrees today, which is 64 Fahrenheit. At its hottest, but I'll just go for walkies when it's not hot.
Ah,
Sounds good to me.
there's a plan.
By the way, the music for this game is fantastic.
Oh, it's so good.
Zen,
real
one would
good.
say.
Yeah. These Journey don't miss.
It do not.
They really don't, do they?
Okay.
Oh.
Ah.
Everything okay?
No, but I'll get it sorted.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Shababa.
Oh,
Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Yes, my lord. I forgot I was here.
Yeah.
in concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court?
As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me. That's for sure.
I cared, Eb. I see you there. I sit it in for the old bean while she's out of action, but I know what her decision would be.
is this legal?
Does this mean I'm finally able to get out of here and start work? Well, it's about time!
I say, I'll have a corker to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I?
A corker.
Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions.
Hereby.
Guilty.
Right?
Guilty.
Mr. Foreman!
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
There's so much fire in it, it tips over. Falls on the judge.
Operations is on fire! Very well, Mr. Sekinatsume, I hereby pronounce you not guilty.
Yeah!
And the fireworks.
Yeah.
This is a fire hazard.
This is
A little bit.
A fire in London? I've never heard of that before.
And finally, Mr. Natsume,
Oh, yes, Lord, sir.
you are a free man once more now. It is my hope that you'll continue to further your education in British culture.
Well,
And may you never again be brought before me.
Oh, yes, sir. Of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to tears
Of the kingdom.
oh, he really hit us with it.
100% kingdomed.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned.
Yay!
Oh, that was something.
We did it.
Jesus.
Well, court is a court.
We have victoried the case. Oh, locum.
Locum. Wait, you mean me?
Who else is locum? Of course! Is there another locum here?
Is there even one?
Compared to the original locum tenens, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it?
What's wrong with us using my actual name?
Oh, at last! I'm free! I'm free! Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah!
Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted.
Would it be so hard to just say that then?
Locum, you did it! You saved me from the brink!
Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault, after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now.
No! Loyal, locum, loyal!
Yes?
I mean, as I said before, I have just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback.
Oh. Oh dear. I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume.
But today, you locum lawyer gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!"
Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you.
This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan.
An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work?
An anecdote. Jesus. Who is this?
I think it's Ray.
Sholmes?
Ray? Maybe? Yeah!
Hey.
I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you.
Good thing I just drank the rest of my water. I see I am here and not going too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say.
Oh,
The trial should begin presently, Mr. Arahodo, and I wish you the very best of luck.
It's just finished.
What? No! That my haste was in vain?
It's you!
Lala soon was
Ah!
a woman who may very well have become a mother to me. You
Thanks
took
for
away
the
her
gifts of
life,
Saki.
so don't you dare judge me!
A mother?
Oh? Have we met, sir?
Yeah, it's playing about weird. Okay.
This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters had taken place in the Bloom. Either of you rigged lodgings for that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light.
Charming. Can you remember how many breads you have eaten in your life?
This is all your fault! Herlock Sholmes! You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal! I'm going to give you a piece of...
My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not?
Oof.
What a crunch.
Had she be taken to the hospital more urgently? I feel perhaps she would regain consciousness by now.
Oof.
Oh,
But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone who would have been shaken by such an experience.
I do feel very badly about how I behaved.
No.
Well, never mind. Now then, what was it you wanted to say to me, sir?
struggling.
He really twists the knife.
Oh, nothing.
Priceless! Oh, I'm so really glad. That was quite priceless.
What an asshole.
Jesus, what an asshole.
Poor Soseki-san.
BRB.
Still, on the bright side, you've had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And, it would seem, you were not even found guilty.
But there is no bright side.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume?
Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits, and now by the Reaper.
Ah, Lord Van Six.
I haven't forgotten, what facing that man in court means.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna die.
Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed.
It will be all right, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. Hiya!
Ah!
Oh.
With a perfectly executed Susato takedown.
Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato. I like how he turned over, like... whoop. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan?
Yes, this is a meta joke about how I write a novel. Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon.
Oh,
It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I've visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors.
The tutelage.
The titties.
Professors! I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it has shaped. and I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
Mein Gott.
That's very touching, Mr. Natsume.
Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse?
That's not it at all! The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my inside. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own.
Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be an interesting read. Hint, hint. All the Japanese kids reading this. Hint.
What about Mr. Sato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry? What about us?
Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot?
Why would we? I hate the guy.
A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London.
That's right, it's not even been a fucking week yet.
This is our third day.
And only now does it feel as though we have finally found our feet.
And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not?
That's right. But we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us.
I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings.
Oh, the windowless room.
I don't know about you.
Oh, what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up with a floor, a ceiling, and walls.
And
Great.
walls. Damn.
Great taste, attorney.
Not from the cold, at least.
And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the cursed evil spirit.
Oh my, an evil spirit.
He's all yours. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call.
Remember that for Greatest Attorney 2, gamers.
We'll think about it if that's alright.
Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
Oh my god, would we?
Really?
Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add.
Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft?
I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room up as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of.
Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to take lodgings in the great detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words.
So, suggesting we look elsewhere is out then.
Ah, what an honor. By the way, Iris, go clean up your dad's room.
Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening.
He won't be using it that long.
And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist.
What?
I don't know what to say. But thank you, and yeah.
Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long.
Somebody is happy.
Shh. Somebody stop me.
Oh, Locum. I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London.
Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you, too. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon.
Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again one day.
Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer.
Hopefully by then I'll be a successful author.
Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, Mr. Sholmes.
I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening.
And so, with Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. Oh my god, we were roommates.
They were roommates.
Hey, it's not the same room, you're in the attic. Never forget that you've been relegated here.
Hey, at least you got a window.
Yeah?
So this.
That's better than me.
It's to be our new office, yes.
Wait, hold on. What's that there behind Susato-san?
It looks like a shovel.
No, behind her.
No. I know what he's looking at.
It's a ladder.
Or a step ladder?
No. Our office. I rather like the sound of that.
Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it?
I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step. But I'd like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now.
So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? Oh, shit, dude.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Mr. Sholmes. Yes, thank you very much.
It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it.
Good. I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I would like to welcome you.
I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsumi arrives. We have a lot to celebrate.
Iris, you must let me help you.
All right then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad.
Splendid.
Begone, gremlin. Not today.
So, Mr. Naharu, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital? He looks like Mulaflaga. I love this.
Yeah!
It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us.
Those are precisely my sentiments when I first stepped from opposite these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is.
Sorry?
London is a glorious place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth.
Mirth.
Brightest of lights. Cast the darkest of shadows.
Shadows? What do you mean?
You must face yourself, Inosuke, old boy.
Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So once again, Mr. Naruto.
Unless.
Welcome to London.
Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke. But it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it.
The murk. Le murk.
And
that's 4 out of 5 cases, baby! Achievement unlocked, landed in London.
Alright.
save your current progress.
We did it.
Away.
Well done.
Episode 5. The inventor of the unspeakable story. And if I click this, Christian will yell at me, so I'm not going
The
to.
Hound of the Baskervilles.
A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal had ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smouldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames.
Oh my.
Oh my. Me oh my, oh me oh my.
Watson, it was a hot dog.
Just because I know Kristen's gonna yell at me.
Wanna hear something fucked up? Between now and the start of the next case, there are 4 escapades.
3 through 6?
Jesus.
Yes.
Oh my.
And 7 and 8 take place after case 5. We obviously shouldn't do them all at the same time now. But we could, do one now, one at the start of the next session, or at the end of the next, whatever, to get them through.
Let's do 3 and 4 now, and then do 5 and 6 later.
Wait.
Ah!
They are not in chronological order, right?
Fuck!
In truth, the one that happens pretty soon after where we just were, is episode 6.
What?
We still have some Natsume content. We can do it in the order it is presented, or we could do it in chronological.
Chronological, me gamer.
So, Mr. Natsume, are you really returning home to Japan?
Play theme music.
Yes, indeed I am. Everything is arranged already.
We'll be sad to see you go. And after Bruno worked so hard to prove your innocence as well. What a shame. It feels like it was all a wasted effort.
Don't say that. I know what you're suggesting.
Now, calm down, Mr. Natsume. It's all fine, really.
You are in good company here, sir. If you fear the Reaper, you needn't hide the fact.
I am a proud citizen of the Empire of Japan. I'm not a scaredy cat.
Talking of cats, Mr. Sholmes just casually threw one among the pigeons there.
A man like me belongs in Japan, not here. That's what I've come to realize.
I wonder. The mustache of yours was eminently suited to London, I would say.
There goes Mr. Sholmes throwing another cat in.
The moment I arrived in the city, I noticed. Everyone in London laughs at me behind my back, like hyenas. Hysterical hyenas, ha-haing horribly.
I'm sure that's not true, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, but it is. Whenever I turn around and peer down the fog-filled streets, all I see is foreigners everywhere.
Well, there's you, Bruno, and Susie in here, so that's 3 foreigners out of 5 people. I take your point.
Lamau.
Only the other day, I was taking a stroll through the fog as usual, when a young man approached me from ahead. He was pale and gaunt, his back arched like a cat. Observing his wretchedness moved me so deeply. Ah, I thought to myself, I'm not the only one suffering in this hell. But, do you know what? Can you imagine? It was just my own reflection in a shop window.
Mao.
A stunning, stupefying surprise.
Don't forget, slap in the face.
Everyone started laughing at me, gentlemen thereabouts, ladies passing by, even the man at the shop window.
Wow.
Ah, yes. And a certain great detective would like to be included among the mirthful.
God.
Ah!
Mr. Sholmes is really going for Soseki-san today.
Well, I for one think you're a very handsome man, Mr. Natsume.
There, did you hear that? This 10-year-old girl thinks you're handsome. Isn't that wonderful?
Jeez, rub it in a little bit more in Ryunosuke.
That makes me feel suspiciously warm inside.
He looks genuinely delighted.
Point is, we Japanese are humble and modest. Studying on foreign soil, surrounded by foreign people, how can anyone possibly enjoy that? No one could. It's impossible. If you're a genuine Japanese.
Suppose, Jesus.
If you say so.
Actually, it would appear that there is someone. A Japanese man who studied in a foreign country and seems to have thrived on the experience.
There he is.
The pose.
Mr. Ogai Mori. I believe he studied in Germany.
Old guy.
Mr. Mori, pray, tell us more of the fellow.
Tell us, Mori.
Well, today he's a very successful author in Japan.
Oh, I've heard of him. He was the professor who wrote My Hime, isn't he?
My Hime?
I suppose in English the title would be dancing queen, maybe?
Young and sweet? Only 17?
Only 17.
Oh, I see. A tale of a woman who waltzed her way through the world, perhaps?
You really needn't make up such a silly translation, you know. It's already officially called The Dancing Girl in English. It seems Mr. Mori greatly enjoyed his time in Germany. He became close with a local lady while he was there.
What you say? With a local lady? A compatriot's criminally contradictory conduct.
Well, I suppose your experience of studying abroad depends to a large extent on your character.
Well, don't just link that in the chat, Christian. Give it to us too. Come on now.
Well, I'm a bit got to go. It's just that, oh yeah, this is a guy.
As they say, many men, many minds.
Mr. Mori has an open mind. Mr. Natsume, a closed one.
Possibly a slightly black and white view, don't you think, Mr. Sholmes?
Well, anyway. If that's how you feel about being abroad, why did you choose to study here?
Wasn't it to further our nation's understanding of the English language or something?
Yes, that's right.
So, what were you doing in Japan before you came to Great Britain then?
I was a school teacher of English, of course.
Englishman! A bit cursory, perhaps, but I've managed to discover some information about Mr. Natsume's teaching days.
How? That's just a little outside the field of law, isn't it, Mr. Sato?
It's all in her book.
Well, let me pose you a question, Mr. Naruhodo. If you had to translate the English phrase, I love you, into Japanese, what would it become?
Hey. That's easy. Aishiteru, or suki desu.
Wrong! According to Mr. Natsume's teachings, at least.
What?
Would you like to explain, Mr. Natsume?
Here we go.
Yes, of course. Your research was very thorough. I always used to tell my students that we Japanese don't express ourselves that way. Rather, we might say, "Suki ga kirei desu ne."
My dear Mr. Natsume, I must interject. Suki ga kirei desu ne would translate as, the moon is beautiful, isn't it?
Wow, look at this guy.
Get in
Why does Sholmes have knowledge of the Japanese language? Golly gee, I wonder why. I hope that never comes up again.
I'll make sure it won't. I know that.
It's a gag.
The point is that we Japanese are reticent when it comes to expressing our emotions. We prefer to show our feelings of adoration, our tsuki, by appreciating the beauty of the moon, the tsuki.
Wordplay. Ah, using the suki to express suki. It's an amusing play on words, I see.
Oh, or in language you might understand better. God shows. It's not a play on words. It's subtle. It's humble. It's fleeting. It's beautiful. It's art.
Isn't it just being shy?
My dear fellow, the foreign dancing girl would be out of your reach with such an attitude.
Oh,
Damn.
Imagine how the great Mr. Mori would act.
Smoke Soseki at all costs time.
He would win the lady's heart in a flash with well-placed and unrestrained, I love you.
oh, that's smooth, Mr. Mori. Am I destined to live in his shadow forever?
Just what sort of man is he in that imagination of yours?
The fact is, I just can't settle in this foggy London town with all its foreign inhabitants. I've lost the count of the number of different lodgings I tried before I found myself here. As it happens, I even lived on Baker Street at one time.
No, really?
Sao scholar lives near there. A man by the name of William James Craig. His knowledge of Sao is unsurpassed. He has been a great inspiration to me over the...
Forgive the interruption, but am I supposed to be familiar with this style of which you speak?
It's Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. But in Japanese, we write it as Sa and O.
What?
I don't know.
That's too far. That's too far from my weeb mind.
It's a phonetic representation using kanji characters. So England is Igrisu, and America is America.
Come to think of it, we used the same character as Ri in one word and Risu in another. Talk about confusing.
Yeah.
You don't say.
So Shakespeare's Sao in Japanese. Presumably the Sao is a brutal attempt of the first Sha. In which case, where's the spear?
I never thought of that. We only have the O left.
Which could, even in the most charitable interpretation, only be a brutal attempt at old man.
It seems to me that whoever had the job of deciding on the character's first name got bored very early on.
Complete kanji character catastrophe.
My God.
So then, on to the burning question. What about me? How do you write my name?
Sorry?
Herlock Sholmes, my dear fellow. There must be Japanese characters for my name.
Oh dear. I am sorry, Mr. Sholmes, but none exist that I'm aware of.
What?
There he goes!
Am I really nothing to you Japanese? In that case, it is a matter of paramount importance. You must construct my name in kanji at once.
Oh, well, we could use a kanji that's pronounced so to start with, and then you just want to give so o, perhaps? I think that would be about right, Mr. Sholmes.
But that's almost the same as so, isn't it?
Yes, you employ the dreaded O. I don't want people to confuse me with an old man who died centuries ago.
I'm sure the world's greatest literary figure would rather not be confused with you either.
Well, the world's greatest detective is still youthful and full of vigor. So how about so handsome?
Oh yes, that sounds wonderful. I'm sure everyone will be calling you that 100 years from now.
How can she say that with a straight face?
Happy Pride Month.
What about me then? Iris. Perhaps Aihime, since the second character doesn't seem to matter?
Oh, I think I get it.
What?
Because before localization, his name is Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
So if you reversed it, it'd be Osa, which is like Osan. Maybe? Which is old man?
I think the O has some something to also do with the old man part.
Oh, that's entirely.
Since it was also for Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But you are correct on that as well. Oh, gee.
Maybe it's a double.
Ahime. Oh yes, the Princess of Love. That's an adorable name for you, Iris.
Stop, please. With a name like that, Mr. Mori is likely to turn up at any moment and rashly declare, I love you.
This Mori-san has become quite a character in Suzuki-san's mind.
Quite a character.
And you, Mr. Naruto, might I venture, Kurobozu is a fitting name for you? As in, the Dark Monk?
Oh, that's very good. It describes you perfectly, Runo.
So you think I'll be wearing this black varsity uniform for the rest of my days, do you?
Yes.
But Mr. Naruto already has a Japanese name. I don't believe he needs another.
No, well, you never know.
Well, anyway. We were talking about your life here in London, weren't we, Mr. Natsume? You should just get out and have fun.
Oh, the landlady has said as much to me, too.
Oh!
Oh.
Mrs. Garadeb.
What?
But it wasn't fun at all. It was frightful.
Whatever do you mean?
A cycle incident.
An incident? On a bicycle? Oh yes, come to think of it. Did you remember that? There's an old bicycle parked just outside, isn't there? It's in a sorry state, though.
I tried to say no to her, but she insisted I took it for a ride. Perhaps my pronunciation was wrong. So I took my life in my hands and attempted to ride the steel spiderweb stallion to a nearby park.
I really don't think there's anything wrong with your pronunciation, Mr. Natsume.
Joan Garrideb just isn't the kind of woman to take no for an answer.
She's problematique.
Damn. If you're going to die, you might as well die in beautiful surroundings. So the park was my first thought.
Jesus.
Mr. Sofsky.
After a whole day of racing with death, I emerged with only relatively minor bruises.
So, you got the knack of it?
Don't be silly. Dying isn't something you can learn to do.
Mr. Natsume, you keep talking about dicing with death and dying and so forth, but riding a bicycle is supposed to be fun.
Oh no, that's just what people tell you. But it's an old wives' tale.
Oh my god!
Is it?
I mean, just consider the real name of the vehicle. It's not called a dicycle for nothing. How anyone expects to use such an aptly named vehicle to move forward is beyond me. Pedal, power, promises, pain.
Mario Party 1 completely agrees with that.
I didn't think it was possible to get worse with practice.
I'm lucky to be alive. Although, I must say, after looking death in the eye for a whole week, I feel I did at least manage to mount the steed reliably.
Isn't there a word in Japanese for bicycle?
Yeah.
I swear there is, and it's not just like a loan word either.
And notwithstanding a few wobbles, I found I could make progress in the forward direction.
What a triumph.
Yeah, Jitensha. So where's he getting dicycle from? Like, come on, buddy.
Because he's in London. He was speaking of their name for it.
Deduction is much the same. When first presented with a problem, that mental exertion trying to solve it leads only to bitter disappointment. But after a week of picking one's way carefully along the path of reasoning and thought, one begins to see results.
See, I was gonna say Jitensha, but that's a Granblue, not bicycle, so...
Oh yes, the Eternals. It's the Eternal Bicycle.
Jutenshu.
Yeah, I was like, Jitensha. No, that's Jitenshi. I'm getting my Granblue mixed up with my actual words.
So, is that why all of your off-the-cuff deductions always seem half-baked?
What a wonderful insight into your extraordinary mind, Mr. Sholmes.
Susato-san, I'm trying to burn him.
Unfortunately, after wobbling down the street, I noticed there were little stones everywhere. Death traps. Not that way, I said to myself. But the wild vehicle wouldn't listen and wobbled me on and on down the street. So of course I hit one of those deadly stones and the crazy colt threw me. It's just my luck. Dicycles are the epitome of my pitiful life.
I wish I could disagree.
Oh.
On the same subject,
I'm sure there's a famous American author who's written about having a similar experience.
What is this, Escapade?
What is this?
Oh yes, I've read that essay too, Iris.
Some of us are better read than others.
Well, no more dicycles for me.
Oh, Mr. Natsume, at least you have an interesting anecdote to take back
To Japan, if nothing else.
You always manage to put a positive spin on things, don't you, Miss Susato?
Personally, I haven't mounted a bicycle for some time.
no, me neither.
That's good.
So how about a jaunt? We shall all ride out together.
That sounds great. I'll perch behind Miss Susato.
But the sun is going down. It'll be black before long.
London street lamps are very bright, you know, and the fog isn't too thick today.
And my beloved ride is all bent out of shape.
My dear fellow, if you are bound on top of the vehicle in any way, it's fitting that it's already bent out of shape.
Lamau.
It's settled then. Come along, Mr. Natsume. Shall we go?
Oh. Tsuki ga kirei desu ne.
Don't tell me that's his translation of no, thank you as well.
Indeed, Mrs. Natsume. The moon is most beautiful at precisely this time in the evening.
We're not Japanese. You can't beat around the bush with us.
What a weird and wonderful world.
What was this escapade?
It was. It surely made a lot more sense in Japanese.
Subarashi Shinsekai.
Jesus! Alright, I'm not doing another one. That was long. That was like 30 minutes.
It wasn't that long.
We started at
Not
like
30.
242 hours in an hour at 3:07. That was like 25 minutes. What is the next one anyway?
Episode 3 at the British Supreme Court.
All right.
We visit Lord Strongheart to report on the article.
Let's not put Ray through his paces at 11 p.m.
Checking the YouTube videos for these, the one we just did was 14 minutes and 59 seconds. This one is 14 minutes and 5 seconds.
Jesus.
No thanks.
About the same length.
Next time we'll fly through them, and that'll be like the first hour of the stream when we're all ready and prepared for it. Woof. I must say, chat.
It has been delightful
Tally ho, governor.
to partake with you this evening.
Thanks for all coming by and for bombarding me with out of nowhere gifts.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys on Tuesday, probably Thursday, if you know me. And I hope you had a good time. Yeah. Bye 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 bye.
Bye bye.
Farewell,
Bye.
dear viewers.